Wenzel's Association. And in fact, I visited a farm in North Branford, which has a very impressive produce and hemp output. And it is a potentially extraordinarily important part of Connecticut's economy, particularly our agricultural economy. And it also offers very useful and significant products such as CBD gummies, which are peach rings, and beverages, a non-alcoholic seltzer, also containing CBD. The question is, what are the benefits and qualities of these products? What are the amounts of CBD? What are the health effects and potentially the downsides? And right now, we are in a wild west of hemp products. Some are potentially enormously beneficial and important to consumers, but the claims for some of them are outlandish and potentially deceptive and misleading. Consumers need and deserve guidance. So do manufacturers and hemp growers. And that is why I am calling on the FDA to establish a regulatory framework, as it has promised to do for these products. Economically, rules of the road. What would that regulatory framework do? Well, it would tell the producers whether of this kind of strawberry lime water-soluble ingredient for flavoring, which also contains CBD, exactly how much of the CBD could go into this product. What should be the labeling? Should it be classified as a food or as a drug? And what are the marketing rules that should apply so that consumers have accurate and truthful knowledge about what the health benefits and potential side effects are of a drug or a food? The FDA has this responsibility. Now, one product has been approved as a drug. Epidiolex has been approved for use in treatment of seizures. FDA approved, safe and effective. But there are a variety of other products that have been claimed to have medical effects. For example, Curaleaf, claimed to be a treatment for cancer or Alzheimer's. Happy Tea, marketed by Kylie Tanner. CBD Medic, marketed by Rob Gronkowski. These kinds of products are advertised and promoted as miracle cures or health benefits, when in fact they either have no effect or potentially downsides. So what we need to do is stop the bad actors, rid the market of unsubstantiated and inaccurate health claims, make sure the good guys have a playing field, a level playing field, where truth and accuracy are valued and rewarded by consumers and by the regulatory framework. Again, hemp growers, manufacturers, food producers, and most important, consumers all deserve a regulatory framework that will set rules for classification, labeling, marketing, quality, and other important features so that we stop the Wild West claims and make available products that are truly healthful and beneficial to consumers. The treatment of pain, anxiety, inflammation, other kinds of maladies may be aided by CBD, and consumers deserve the benefit of those treatments, but they also deserve to know the truth about the oils, lotions, gummies, and other products that are out there right now. Jeff?
Yeah, thank you, Senator, and thanks for your leadership on this issue. I'm Jeff Wenzel. I'm representing the Connecticut Hemp Industry Association. We're a nonprofit member group, really here to support not only Connecticut farmers, but manufacturers, extractors, distributors, retail outlets, and consumers. I agree wholeheartedly, Senator, that that it is still a somewhat young, immature industry, which would benefit from some guardrails and some minimum standards. And yes, and enforcement on some of the bad actors out there. We have seen that there have been some studies that products either are not have the CBD that's advertised or untested. So I think the industry would really benefit from some regulation. All that we're hoping for from the FDA is that it's fair. It's not not heavy-handed. Obviously, there's a stigma with CBD coming from the cannabis plant. But we want it to be treated just like any other natural product, and so we have faith that they'll come through.
It is a natural product. It can do enormous good in relieving pain, anxiety, inflammation. Consumers deserve the benefit of it, and it is growing and young. And Connecticut has some great farmers as well as manufacturers and extractors, but those kinds of guardrails and rules of the road will benefit everyone, because the consumers ultimately will benefit from these products as long as they know what they're buying.
This is clearly an emerging business here in Connecticut. It has taken off in other states. And I know that the sale of these products can be anywhere from a gas station to a retail store. And I think some of the retailers would probably want to see regulation because it may give them some credibility. How do you regulate this? How does the Department of Consumer Protection, is it health, is it done on the state level? I mean, not all states are producing hemp, but they are importing a lot of these products. And
right.
So, how do you regulate?
Well, I'll give you my perspective, and Jeff can be free to differ with me. My view is there should be federal rules of the road because it's sold nationally, and the Food and Drug Administration has clear jurisdiction here. It has jurisdiction to decide whether specific products are foods or drugs. For example, Epidiolex is clearly a drug. It's taken to treat seizures, and so it is approved as safe and effective by the FDA. If it's a food, it also is reviewed for safety and effectiveness. Is it adulterated? Does it contain CBD of the amount that's advertised? As Jeff said, some CBD products have less or more CBD than they tell consumers they do. In fact, a recent study, I think, concluded that 70% have less or more CBD than they advertise. So, in my view, there would be a framework of regulation that says, in effect, here are the foods, here are the drugs, here are the lotions or other kinds of products that also are regulated in that different way. And they are approved if they contain a certain amount, if they say they have that amount of CBD. Each product has to be classified, labeled, sold, retailed in accordance with that regulatory framework.
And inspected, I would imagine, right?
Well, inspected, tested in some way, yeah. It's not, you don't look at it in the way you would a piece of fruit or...
Because right now people really don't know what's in it.
Right now, there are no guardrails, no rules of the road, no guidance for consumers to know what's healthy, what has side effects. Obviously, they have some benefits, but the question is, how does a consumer know?
Right. You know,
Go
and
ahead, Jeff.
one thing I'd point out is that, you know, some of the better, you know, hemp CBD companies have moved forward and self-regulated themselves. Any respectable CBD company will be producing a certificate of analysis, you know, to a retailer where it's sold. Those are frequently available in a QR code on the bottom of a bottle, so consumers can actually look at it, not only to see the CBD content and to be sure that the THC levels are below the threshold, but also to test for, you know, to see that's been tested for contaminants, whether that be residual solvents, heavy metals, pesticides. But the better CBD companies are already moving forward and self-regulating. So there are good products out there, and they are, you know, consumers can find them. You just have to ask for a COA.
And there are good products, properly labeled, truthfully sold, out there right now. There are also bad actors. And some of the extravagant or outlandish claims people should know are likely misleading or deceptive, but some consumers, out of hope or false expectation, will believe them, as they may, for example, Curaleaf, that it cures Alzheimer's, and that's the kind of bad actor that we need to stop. And I think the federal agency has the responsibility, because these products are sold nationally, although each state has a consumer protection agency that can also take action against misleading or deceptive claims.
You would probably know the answer to this. How many states are now growing hemp? Connecticut's going to harvest soon, right, at the end of October? I don't know how many.
I believe it's around 40.
Wow.
Well, you know, there's, I'm not sure, to be honest. You know, I know, I keep up to date with a lot of the state legislation, but I don't know how many acres are actually, you know, getting planted in practice. So, but it's several.
I will tell you, this effort is bipartisan. We've written a letter to the FDA, along with 5 of my colleagues. One of the leading advocates of the hemp industry is Mitch McConnell, the Republican leader, majority leader of the Senate. So the support for this industry, the hemp industry, is very bipartisan. It has enormous economic potential, but also health and consumer benefit.
What kind of guidance are hemp farmers specifically looking for? Because we've been hearing about the products themselves more on farmers.
Well, I think that the key, you know, what we're hearing from farmers, and this is, you know, the first year here in Connecticut, so it's new to most. But, you know, I think, you know, pest management is a big one. You know, obviously, the genetics are going to come a long way over, you know, in coming years. And, you know, we need to be sure that there's good feminized seeds available for farmers. When you don't have feminized seeds and fields get pollinated, your plants get seeded, obviously. They lose a lot of value. So farmers are learning a lot of lessons in this first year around pest management, around drying and curing. That's one thing that a lot of people may underestimate, is the amount of space required to properly dry hemp. But these are all things that we'll have some successes and some failures in our first year here in Connecticut, but it's been a good opportunity for our farmers to dip a toe in the water or kick the tires a little bit and plan for next year.
And farmers really want this kind of regulatory framework so they can sell more of the CBD. And it will open markets if there is this kind of framework, because people will know the rules of the road, and they'll know some products are beneficial, others not. But the farmers here in Connecticut, as well as the manufacturers, the good guys will prevail. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Senator.
Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Hey,
And I
really do appreciate
Can I
your
just-
leadership on this.
Could I get the spelling of your name?